Hi there everybody, this is Andy from Skilz4umedia. This is video number 1 of our new tutorial series where we're going to teach you how to create a basic space shooting game in HTML, JavaScript and CSS. Hopefully over the course of 9 videos you're going to learn some new skills, but please subscribe to the channel as it really helps us out. Well, hello everybody and welcome back to another Skilz4umedia video tutorial on JavaScript game development. And today we're going to be doing video number 1 of creating a basic shooter or space shooter, which we're using a parallax background where we're going to be adding enemies. We're going to have a player ship on the screen and it's going to be shooting missiles. So first of all, to actually carry out this activity, I have actually downloaded, or should I say downloaded, various different sprite sheets, music and backgrounds from various different free resources on the internet, which I shall reference on the below title or description within YouTube. But please subscribe to the channel, and if you want to buy us a coffee to support the channel, it really does help us out. So first of all, let's get going, shall we? So we need 3 files to make this project happen. I'm going to be using a text editor called Sublime or sublime.com, which is a free text editor you can find on the internet. And we need 3 files. We need an HTML file, a CSS file, and also a JS file. So in your text editor, first of all, this is the HTML file which I've already typed out for you guys. Just make sure, I'll just say keep it on this screen. You can either pause the video and type this out. So first of all, at the top here, we've got the title of the page, which is Vanilla JavaScript Space Game, which we're calling it. Then we're going to be linking to the JS file, which is in the same file directory as the HTML program. And also we have the CSS style sheet. So I've called the JS file called masterfile.js, and that's file with a capital F. And now I'm linking the style sheet, the CSS style sheet, gamestyle.css. So make sure you type that correctly. And in the body part of the website, or the web page shall I say, I've got a div ID called game area, and inside that div ID game area I've got a canvas ID, and I've got an ID of canvas. The height is going to be 650 by 1280 pixels, which should pretty much fill most of your screen. Okay, so remember, when we're designing a web page, we're splitting out the content in the HTML, the formatting in the CSS, and then we've got interactivity in the JS file. So let's move to the CSS file. So in the CSS file, I've typed out like this. Again, pause the video, type this out. For the time being, I've got background color of red, which I'll probably change that to black, because you don't have black space, red space, do we really? In the game area, I've centralized that on the page. I've given a margin on the top of 3 pixels. There's no padding. Width 1280 pixels by height 650. And then in the canvas, I've got the width of 1280, 650 is the height. Margin on top 0, background color yellow. So if just to test it out, to make sure that your style sheet is linked, just go to open up the web page in your chosen browser. I'm using Chrome, and just click refresh. Now obviously you can test it out by just changing some of the values. So if I want to, let's just change the canvas to blue. There we go, blue. Hopefully that changes to blue, which I don't really want it to blue, so I want the body. Let's keep the body as red for the time being. I'm going to keep bring the canvas into black. So I'm just going to go back to my browser, clicking refresh, and as you can see, it changes. So great stuff. So let's go back to the HTML file. So far we've done the CSS file. You've set that up. Great stuff. Now we need to move on to the interactivity, the fun part, the creating the actual game. So first of all, we're going to go to our text editor. At the moment, this is blank. or should I say I've saved the JS file as masterfile.js. At the top here I've just made some notes. This is my shopping list. At the top here I typed in speech marks use strict and then semicolon at the end. So what I've got here at the top here is we need to initiate the canvas, grab the canvas, set up the variables, then we set up the game loop, the clear, update, draw functions, game attributes, speed, level, game frames, time, game over, etc. And then we've got deal with the key press, what happens when somebody presses a key, you know, the ship goes up and down, etc., a fire button, those kind of things. And then we've got to set up a template for the player ship class. So we need a graphic, you know, what a player ship needs live, score, width, height, those kind of things as well. And we're going to be setting up on the screen, you know, a set of lives, your score, and then we're going to have a scrolling parallax background, missile class. So, you know, when you press the fire button, a missile comes out of the ship. How exciting. And then we're going to be setting up some enemies, which will randomly appear on the screen, and then we'll be setting up some sounds as well when you press buttons, or maybe we have some music playing in the background. If we've got enough time, we'll do explosions, but that might be for another video series. So first of all, we're 5 minutes in, so let's start off. Let's first of all define the canvas. Start off the top one. So initiate and define the canvas. So first of all, we're going to be putting in canvas width equals 1280. Next, we need the canvas height. Okay, here we go. 650. I don't need to type in pixels. Okay, now we're going to define canvas. So we're going to go C equals undefined. Defined. Okay, so next one, context, which is going to be also undefined. Just got a new keyboard, so this is why my typing's so bad. Well, that's my excuse anyway. So next part, we're going to do window.onload. So when the window, or when we refresh the browser, this function will carry out function initiate. Initiate, so I'm going to call the function. So when the window loads, we're going to call the initiate function. So now we need to actually put in here the initiate function. So sometimes it's also good practice just to write some notes above certain parts. Define in canvas. So how we actually put notes in, you put these backslashes on the particular line. So, and then I usually put 2-3 dots and then defining canvas. Okay, because sometimes your code can go all over the place and then you kind of like, where do I put that? Right, okay, so we've done that. So we're going to do the initiate function. So function init. Okay, so in here, I'm going to first of all define canvas. So C equals document get element by ID my canvas. So this reference is referencing the canvas ID in your HTML. So if you go back to your HTML, you can see I'm referencing that there. So I'm grabbing it. I've grabbed it. I'll put it in there. Cool. Okay. So from here, CTX context, we're setting up the context equals C dot get context. Then we're going to put in here 2D. Again, remembering these things is just a case of muscle memory, just repeating the same things over and over again. Don't keep on calling your canvases something different every time. Then we're going to add the event listeners. So this is looking for key down events. Document add event listener. And we're looking for a key down event, key down, and if that's pressed, go to the key down pressed function. Set that to false, like so. Right, I'm going to copy that just to save myself time. So you can do exactly the same thing, copying that code, and I'm going to go key up. So this is when the key is released, shall I say. Key up. I'm just going to put that as pressed. And then we're going to put the game loop. Okay, so all games are in a loop. So it just goes round and round and round, redrawing the same thing in a different position when you press a key. Okay, so I'm going to actually just put some, I wouldn't say like dummy functions, because we're going to complete these a little bit later. So we're just going to put in here the key down pressed function, and I'm going to put E for event listener in there, like so. I'm going to copy that, because I'm going to do exactly the same thing with the key up pressed as well. Key up pressed. Okay, so that's that. We've done that. Okay, so we're going to go move into the game loop. So we're going to do the game loop function. So once the page has loaded, it hits the initiate function here, grabs the canvas, and it's listening for the key up, down events, and it moves on to the game loop. Okay, so game loops, I'm going to call this function game loop. Like so. I'm going to type in a timestamp. And then we want function clear game. Draw game. Okay, so we haven't written these functions yet. Update game. Okay, like so. Actually, we're going to switch those around. Update draw. Okay, done. And then last of all, window request animation frame. Animation frame, then game loop. So it's looping around those functions. Okay, so what we kind of like want to do is test to see if this actually works. So I need to just write some dummy functions, because otherwise what's going to happen is going to come up with an error. In fact, I'll show you what I mean by that. So if we go back to the browser and I go and click on refresh, nothing actually happens. So if I go to inspect, if I right click in the black and click on inspect, over on the right hand side we've got the console log. Now I can see there that there's an error. See, what it's saying there is clear game is not being defined, which means we haven't defined clear game. We haven't defined that one, we haven't defined that one, we haven't defined that one, so it's coming up with an error. So we're just going to quickly put in some dummy functions, because we'll actually put something in these functions in the next video, or in video number 2. Are you excited already? I know. Control it. Okay, so from here, we're just going to put in some dummy functions. Just because I really want to test to make sure that we've got this working. Right. Okay. So from here in the draw game, I'm just going to create a rectangle, because I just want to make sure that the canvas is working. So I'm just going to create a rectangle in the canvas, just as by example. Okay. So fill style equals. I'm going to make the rectangle white. Then I'm just going to put in here fill rectangle, and I'm going to place it 100 pixels in from the left, 100 pixels from the top. We're going to make it 100 by 100, like so, and then we're just going to fill, and last of all restore. Right, fingers crossed, moment of truth. Look at that. We have got a square on the screen, so I'm just going to go back to that. It's a good way of testing. So it's a good way of testing the game loop's working, because I can see that it came up in the draw game that the rectangle came up, and also I can see on the right hand side here I don't have any errors. So let's just quickly go through the coding, what we've actually achieved. So we've done this top one. We've initiated, defined the canvas. We've set up the event listeners, defined the initiate function as well. So we're going to mark that as complete. So that's video number 1 complete. setting up the game loop. So we've set up a clear update and window request animation frame. We've done that as well, which is down the bottom here. So we'll try and explain. So from here, from the initiate code, it's grabbed the canvas, it's looking for the event listeners, the key ups, key downs, which we haven't done yet, and it's going to the game loop. So it goes down to the game loop. Now from here, it's going to clear the game, so it's clearing the canvas to draw on. It's updating the game. It's going to be drawing the game. Okay, and then it goes to window animation request animation frame, which is going back to the beginning of the game loop. So it's going round in a circle. Okay, so I think we're going to stop it there. That's 15 minutes into the first video. First of all, thanks very much for watching this one. We're going to be back for video number 2 very, very soon. Please do not hesitate to, subscribe to the channel, and if you wanted to buy me a coffee, because this content does take a little bit of time, and it will be most appreciated. But thanks very much. Have a good day. I'll see you on video number 2. See you later.